Hi and welcome. My name is Lexi Jong and here I like to talk about luxury makeup. Today we're going to be talking about a few items from Byredo. If you are unfamiliar with Byredo, Byredo is a company that was started by Ben Gorham and he is Swedish. He started off with scented candles and perfume and he has a huge name for himself already. So this company, Byredo, already has a huge following and they just launched the cosmetics line. So right now they've released a few products and they're going to be continuing that line. Next month, I believe the eyeshadow palettes launch and they look really nice. The concept behind Byredo makeup is to basically use makeup in any way that you want and to have fun with it. So it's not going to be about super sophisticated looks and neutral colors. I'm not saying that they won't provide neutral colors. They definitely have a neutral looking eyeshadow palette that I am interested in next month, but they're really about bright colors and having fun with makeup. And let's take a look and see what I picked up. So it comes in this little white paper bag and I picked up a few things. More things here than I remembered. Okay, so I picked up, these must be samples. Yes, that's why there are more things. So they did send me 2 perfume samples and we'll have to try these out. I've actually never tried any Byredo perfumes. I like perfume, but I am not a perfume connoisseur. So I don't have a ton of them. What they released are these things called color sticks, and it's basically a multi-use stick that can be used, like lips, cheeks, eyes, anywhere on the face, and they have tons and tons of bright colors. So I went ahead and I picked up one bright shade called Ultra Magnetic, which should be like a purpley blue. And then I also picked out a soft pink, which I thought would make a very nice, cream stick, cheek blush stick. And then I also picked up one of the lipsticks and I have the shade Commuter, which if I remember correctly is a nude tone pink. So each box was wrapped in plastic. The ingredients are listed on the back. And when you open it, it does have a slide out box and your lipstick comes in this little canvas bag and it's kind of a thick canvas, it's not flimsy. And then this is the packaging. So the packaging I think is really pretty awesome. So it is curved and we have the silver and gold duochrome. And yeah, here is the shade that I picked up. This is called Commuter. Let's go ahead and swatch that here. So this is one swatch of it. And if you build it up there, I have to say putting it on my hand, it feels like it has a really thick, more like balmy texture. I like it. Can't wait to try that on. And then this is what the cap looks like. So you see it's pretty thick. It's like double walled. And then it is magnetic and it's a strong magnet. So it's not gonna come loose easily. So the color stick, this is the shade Flower Play, which is the light pink. And it is in this box. I have to say this is like the perfect fit. So I kind of had to pull a little to get out. And this is it. So it is very cute. Let's take a look. So really sheer layer there. I'm not sure if you can really see it. And then to build it up here. So this is a few times and this is a lot of times. So it is very, very sheer. We'll have to see how this works. Again, it is going to be a magnetic closure as well. And it's not quite as thick as the lipstick closure. This is the other shade that I picked up. This is called Ultra Magnetic. And this is much deeper. So it's really a blue purple shade. And when you build that up, you see a little bit more of this metallic sheen. There's a tiny, tiny bit of blue sparkle in there. But it's really kind of like a Concord grape, like, not Concord grape juice, but if you look at the actual Concord grapes in the store, how they're that like deep blue purple shade, that's kind of what you get here. Interestingly enough, if you compare the 2 color sticks, the Flower Play shade, I mean, you can see how like glossy and shiny that is. It's almost more ointment-like in texture versus the Ultra Magnetic, which has more of what you would expect with a, you know, one of these like color sticks, or at least more like what I was expecting. It's not going to be quite so emollient. Like this, it's like transferring, you know, it's kind of like an ointment, like, you know, more of a Neosporin type consistency. But this one here in Ultra Magnetic, yeah, you're still getting transfer, but it's much drier. And I feel like that's going to work a little bit better on the eyes than the Flower Play formula would. And it's kind of interesting. I thought they would all have the same formula. All right, so on my face right now, I have a mix of the Coach & Dough Aqua Foundation with the Coach & Dough Moisture Foundation, and I have a very light dusting of the Sisley Phyto Poudre Compact in Rosy. I didn't put anything else on so that we can play with these. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna move you in closer. Okay, so I have the Hourglass Veil Eye Primer on, and we're gonna apply the color stick in two ways. We're gonna start off with Ultra Magnetic, and this is the Rephr 01 brush, and I'm using this because this is a cream product. You wanna make sure if you're using natural hair bristles that you are using something undyed. So this or synthetic brush is something I would use. We're gonna start off by seeing how it applies from the brush. So just getting some color on here, and let's go ahead and test this out. You can see a little bit more of the sparkle there. I'm gonna get some more on the brush. This actually gives a really nice soft color. I like this color a lot. So there's a soft look with the color stick starting with the brush. Now for the other eye, let's go ahead and apply the color stick directly to the eye. You know what, well, let's actually use fingers for this and see how it kind of smudges out. Add a little bit more here. So I think if you're using the color stick directly and your fingers, you could totally get it as sheer as what I did with the brush. Personally, I have a really hard time applying eye makeup with my fingers. They're just too big to get it exactly where I want it. So let me go ahead. I'm gonna add just a little bit more here to the lid, and then I'm gonna go in with the brush and just kind of spread it a little bit more. You can see how much sparkle there is in this shade now. And yeah, so spreading it out with the brush, you know, it's definitely shears it out more. All right, so if we really pile it on, there we go. So that's a deeper look. So you can kind of go either way with these. So I kind of want to just leave it like this for now to experiment and see whether or not, you know, it like creases, and whether or not the lighter side creases as well as the deeper side, or if there's any sort of difference with that. I can tell right off that this Flower Play on the lids is going to crease immediately. So I don't really need to test to see whether or not that's going to crease. This one is super, super emollient. So we're going to use this on the cheeks. And let's use fingers here. So this one has a more moist texture, a little stickier. It really feels more like Vaseline or Aquaphor, you know, that type of texture to it. So it's really good if you want one of those more wet, dewy looks. But I think on the eyes, this is just not a shade that's gonna work for me. And let's test it out with a brush as well. So this is the Rephr 04. Versus fingers. I think both sides work out pretty equally. I actually think I like doing the fingers a little bit more than the brush. Now, just for sake of comparison, let's go ahead and see what this looks like on the lips. And it's just a soft pink. There's a scent to this. I'm not sure what it is, but it's a little fruity. Yeah, so there's a light fruit scent. But I can definitely see using this on the cheeks or on the lips. But for me, this is not one that I would use on the eyes just because, well, for one, the color is so light that if you're looking for like that wet look, you can put it on top, but I don't think you're really gonna see much pigment on the eyes with this one. But this Ultra Magnetic, I think, is pretty cool. Now, just a few details on these. The Color 6 are made in Italy. They are 3.5 grams or 0.12 ounces, and they have an approximate shelf life of 18 months. Okay, I'm going to take off the Color Balm on my lips, and let's try out the lipstick. So here's the lipstick, and it did have a B engraved in it. The texture of it is really nice and creamy. So it's kind of like one of the Chantecaille lip cheeks in texture. You know how you've got that kind of like thick, balmy feel to it. But this feels a little bit thicker in pigment as well. So I feel like the Chantecaille is a little bit balmier still. But this one feels like the pigment on it is a little thicker. So there's a little bit more drag when you are gliding across your lips. And I mean, you can see how pigmented this is just with a little bit of product. It's very nice though. I like the way it feels. So the lipstick has a scent as well, but it's not going to be the same scent as the Color 6. The Color 6 definitely smell a little fruity, and this smells, I'm not sure what it is. It might be one of their perfume scents, but I feel like there's a little bit of a powdery note to it. So if there is any sort of fruit or floral basis, there's something back there. I just can't tell exactly what it is, but I definitely smell like more of a powdery finish. So this is the lipstick, and let's take a close look at the eyes. All right, so it has been about 15 minutes since I applied the color stick to the eyes, and you can see I'm already getting a little bit of creasing right here and right here. It's pretty evident if you're looking up close, but it's not noticeable from a distance yet. And honestly, I feel like both sides are creasing about the same. So I don't think it really makes any difference as to how you apply it. You're still gonna get creasing with these, but I think this particular type of makeup, it's kind of intended in a way. These color sticks on the eyes and so forth, I feel like they're more editorial, and they are, you know, a little bit more about playing with your makeup. So I think creasing in these is kind of to be expected. All right, I'm going to just clean up these eyes a little bit so it's a little bit more presentable for the rest of the day. All right, so I cleaned that up a little bit, but let's go ahead. I'm going to take the other side of this brush and go into flower play, and I'm just going to add a little bit of this right in the center so I get a little bit of extra shine. So yeah, you can see that the flower play really is just gonna give it more of that glossy effect, but there's no real color to it. Just gonna use a finger and kind of smooth over everything. Okay, I'm gonna take the Rephr 02 brush and I'm going into the Ultra Magnetic with this, and I'm gonna use this more as a smudger. Got a little bit more product on there, and I'm just going over the upper lash line too. Not really making it too much darker, but just a little bit. And then what's left, just finishing up the lower lash line here. Okay, and I'm gonna take, this is the Linda Hallberg 301. I'm going into Flower Play here, and I just wanna get a little bit of a shine in the inner corner. So I'm just gonna put some on here and just put it in there. So it just makes it a little glisten. It's not really a true highlight per se. I'm just gonna finish my mascara real quickly, and then we'll go over my final thoughts. So this is my final Byredo look, and Byredo does have a few other items already out that I did not pick up, such as a mascara. I think there's an eyeliner, and I know there's a lip balm, but I passed on those. There are eyeshadow palettes coming out, I believe, the very beginning of November. So if you're interested in seeing those, please let me know down below in the comments or DM me on Instagram. My handle is @AlexisJong. And overall, with the color sticks, I think for their intended purpose of, more playing with makeup and having fun with it, I think they have met that purpose. There are so many different colors. It's kind of like opening a box of crayons. There are so many bright colors. There are also some more subdued colors as well, and they're just fun to play with. These two shades, as I mentioned, Ultra Magnetic has a drier texture than Flower Play. Flower Play is going to be a lot glossier and dewier looking. It's a thinner texture. It feels a little bit more like a thin ointment versus Ultra Magnetic, which feels more like what you would traditionally get in any sort of, cheek stick or an eye crayon or something like that. So it's a drier texture, and it has a little bit more of a traditional feel for that type of product. Now, as for the two of these, I think Flower Play did work out well for my cheeks, and honestly, I think this type of dewy look would actually serve very well as a light highlight if you're looking for more of that wet look, or we could potentially even pile on some other things. It does not give a lot of color. You can see this is built up, so you're not going to get a lot of color from Flower Play. Ultra Magnetic, as you saw, if you apply it directly with the brush, you really get a really soft look, and I actually really like that. I think that is very nice. It's great for every day. It just gives you a little hint of color, or you can apply it with the stick, with your fingers, whatever, and you can build that pigment up. So overall, I thought they were fun to play with, but just know that these are definitely going to crease, and they're going to crease pretty quickly. Some people really do like a creased eyeshadow look, and it can look really edgy and kind of cool in certain situations. It's not something though that I typically gravitate towards, so I usually don't like to have a lot of creasing. However, with this type of application, having a little bit of creasing, as I showed you at the 15-minute mark there, I'm totally okay with that. So that is fine as long as it doesn't progress from there. That would be fine for me on a regular basis. However, for me, these color sticks are really going to be more about days when I want to play with makeup versus, a day when I just want to look really beautiful. So would I pick up more of the color sticks? I would potentially pick up another shade or two just to kind of add into this and have a little bit more versatility when I'm playing with these. I really like this Ultra Magnetic shade. So it's like a grape, but you got that blue sparkle in there, and it's a blue purple shade. I really like that. So I would definitely see pairing it with a deep teal green or something like that as well. So I do like that. And I think this texture, there is a magenta shade. I forget what it's called. I almost picked it up, but I think that would also look really nice on the lips. So I would potentially get another color stick to play with on the lips as well. As for Flower Play on the lips or the cheeks, I think Flower Play works really well more to give that wet dewy look. So it's not going to give you much pigment as a blush, but I think it would work really well as a little highlight. So kind of like any of those glosses that you use as a highlight, like the Gloss Lumiere from Chanel and so forth, just tapping on a little bit of that will give you some extra shine anywhere on your face. I do actually like how it looked on my lips. It just gave the lightest hint of color and it feels really moisturizing. Again, this one does have a different texture, so it's a little bit creamier, not creamy like a thick cream, but you know, it has a little bit more slip and give to it, so it does feel very comfortable on the lips. As for the lipstick, this is the shade Commuter, and I really like the formula. It's incredibly comfortable and creamy on the lips, and I love any of those lipsticks that have kind of that thick balm-like texture infused with a lipstick. I just find them to be very, very comfortable over long periods of time, and they're one of my favorites. This one is a little bit more pigmented than I was expecting, which is not a problem. I actually like that. So I think this particular shade is a bit warmer than I expected. You can see that it's kind of like a brick rose. So not really sure how else to describe it, but it's kind of like there's a brick red undertone, but it's a rose shade. And when they mix, you get a little bit of that orangish clay kind of look. So it's not my favorite color, but I do really like the formula a lot. So I would pick up more of the lipsticks. There were quite a few shades I was interested in. I'd really like to try one of their reds. So I would be interested in trying more of the lipsticks. One thing I wanted to show you about the lipstick, there's no like glitter or sparkle in it, but if you take a look, you can see it does catch the light. There's a sheen to it, and I think that is really nice. So overall, I'm very happy with the lipstick formula, and actually I think overall the products in general are fun to play with. They're not going to be like a daily product for me, except possibly the lipsticks. Please let me know down below in the comments what you think of the Byredo makeup that I used today. If you have any tips or suggestions, they are always welcome. And I'd love to know if you picked anything up or if you're planning on it. Also, please make sure to let me know if you're interested in seeing the eyeshadow palettes from them when they become available. As always, this video is not sponsored. None of my videos are ever sponsored, and I purchased all of these products on my own. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, please make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when my next video pops up. Got quite a few things. It's just so hard to get it all up at once, but I have so many things I can't wait to share with you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon.